Thank you for tuning in to another Raisin Brand podcast. Make sure to check out our website at raisinbrand.co and sign up for our email list to make sure you never miss another podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Raisin Brand podcast. My name is Aaron. I'm a brand strategist with Pixel Labs. We have a very exciting topic today and some very exciting folks that have joined us to talk about it. Today, we're going to be talking about the benefits of online selling and marketing and some different tools that local businesses have been able to use and utilize to sell goods and products. So this morning, I would like to start off by welcoming our guests, Kelly, Tanya, and Heather. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, oh my goodness. They are here this morning from Mow and Arrow Boutique. They are each co-owners of the business and have their storefront in Waverly, Iowa. They also sell online, in their app, and through live sales on social media. So before we go ahead and get started with some of the questions, would you each introduce yourself and kind of your role in the business and how long you've been a part of the business?
Yeah.
So do I?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You can pick. There's never
I'm Kelly Moeller. I am the founder of Mow and Arrow. I originally was the sole owner of it. We opened up online in 2018, like October-ish. And then in 2019, probably around March, we opened up a storefront in Waverly. And then this last April in 2023, we brought on, I sold a third of the business to each, Tanya and Heather, and so now we're co-owners.
My name is Tanya Dünner, and I, like Kelly said, started out as a sales associate and running the floor and helping her with online sales, and then worked into running the front and being the manager of the store. And then, like Kelly said, now a part of the ownership of it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm Heather Brees, and I started as the mail carrier.
She was.
I was their mail carrier for the store and for Kelly's home, and got to know them, and then ended up coming on as their shipping and inputting and kind of the back of the house stuff, and and then co-owner.
Oh my goodness. So your vehicle would be full then of packages.
Yeah, because not only did they have like stuff coming out of the business, also like from the home and so it was, and it was great, like getting to know them that way, and then, I know, it's kind of, it's interesting, but it worked out so good, yeah.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. So, specifically, we're going to be talking a little bit about online selling and some of the tools that you've used. We talked a little bit ahead of time about the live sales. But before we get too far into that, let's start how, in your business, how are you selling all your merchandise? So live sales are a piece of that. What are the other pieces of how you're selling your products?
So we have a website and an app, but our biggest point of sale would be in-person sales at our storefront. And even we offer local pickups, and so those who do shop with us online, whether that be through Facebook Lives, our app, or our website, there is an option on there instead of shipping that they can select local pickup. We pull those orders, and then we just have a spot in the back of the store, and then they can come into the store to pick it up.
Nice. And so was that part of the original plan, having all of those options, or did you start with just in store and then expand, or what was that process like?
Yeah, so it started with actually just online in my basement, and we did shipping and local pickups at my home, and it took off like crazy, and it was like, I cannot have all these people constantly coming to my home. I had like a little box outside, and then I had to have 2 boxes outside, and we lived in the country.
And you were making lots of trips to the post office for your shipping.
Yes. And so when my husband and I went to market in Las Vegas the very first year that we were in business, we were there and we're like, we should just open up a storefront, like have something in town. And the idea was like we could still just sell online and have people pick up. And then it just grew into this, like people needed our storefront to be where they could come in and try things on. And so it escalated very quickly because that was the demand. And but now I think things over the last, 5 years, it's gone up and down. It used to be like everything was online and then everything was in person, and then it was kind of a blend, and then COVID hit and everything was back online, and then after COVID everybody wanted to come in person. And so now we're kind of at that point where our in-person sales are stronger than our online. But it's probably like a, I don't know, 70-30 split.
Okay. And then and actually you talked about the demand. What does Monero do different products-wise or service-wise that folks have liked so much and appreciate?
We are very strong on customer service and building that relationship. When someone comes into the store, they're not just an average, like we want to treat them like family. So we're very open and we're very friendly, and we, get to know our customers. So we ask them about their kids and what they're there for, and build that relationship with them so that they do return, but also we can celebrate the highs and the lows for them that are going on in their lives. And so I think that's a big thing, that what maybe separates us a little bit is that customer service and that personal part of Monero. So it just, we have a lot of people who watch us online, but then they come into the store to interact with us. And so that's kind of the nice part about doing a local pickup, is that we still get to see them. And then if we haven't seen them for a little while, then we do reach out and be like, hey, is everything okay? Is everything going all right? We haven't seen you in a little while. And it's more just checking on them. It's not the fact that they haven't been and purchased anything. We just want to make sure that they're all right. And so we actually had a lady come in this week, and we hadn't seen her forever, and we were worried about her. And so I did reach out, knowing that she got her hair done at somewhere, just to make sure she was okay. And so she came in to thank us and stuff like that. So it's definitely building that connection with our customers more than anything.
Mm-hmm. And I think too, we include all sizes.
Yep.
Like, that's huge. We didn't just do small through large or small through extra large like some of the other boutiques did, which is what I thought set us apart at the beginning too. And women love that, especially with all of the main stores closing, and then they lost a lot of places to shop. So not only do they get their size, they get the experience of the friendliness that you wouldn't get at other main
And seeing
big
people
stores.
that are their size. So they're not walking in and seeing people that are a size 5 trying to tell them how something's going to fit them if they're a size 24. It's actually seeing people in different sizes wearing the clothes, and so then we can talk about it and connect to them. We understand that it's the most difficult thing to buy jeans because they never fit you, and so trying to just give them a new outlook on that and having a better experience shopping.
So it's not just another place that you can go and buy clothes that you like. It's more so a community that you're inviting folks into. Okay, awesome. And so talk a little bit about, you said the majority of the sales are in store, but of course COVID was this big thing that we just all went through. When it was all virtual, or even now when you're still selling virtually or digitally, how do you maintain that community even though you might not touch with that individual in person?
Well, one fun thing we do is we play games when we do lives. They have to interact with us, and whether it's, getting them to comment, and we have a timer, last person to comment gets a prize, or they can ask us questions. We try to make it as interactive as possible. Or when we have a drink, we'll do a cheers together, and people love that. They'll come in and they'll be like, oh, that was so much fun. I had a drink with you last night, and you guys, that you make it so it's it's not so professional, or there's no pressure. If you don't buy, it's fine. You can still talk to us, and we'll still have a great time. And I think a lot of people like that.
And I think during COVID, that was a way for people to reach out to. So we still did our local pickups, and we did lives every single day during COVID. Wow. So we worked every day during that whole time. And so, we had a few ladies who did come into the store because they were lacking that personal interaction. So they would come in and they would just sit in there and chat with us, just to have that, because they couldn't go to church and they couldn't have that, or sit out to eat or something like that. And so we're that spot for our customers also, because we do have some customers that don't come in, and they just come in to chat with us and tell us how their lives are going, as much as shopping while they're there. So
I think can see who comments when we're on, and so we acknowledge when people say things to us, and we carry on a conversation. It's almost as if we're FaceTiming, but we just can't see them.
Right. Yeah.
Which was a big adjustment, but it's just and we let them know about our families, and so it's not just us getting on there and selling them something. We let them know what's going on in our lives. And so if we do hit a goal, they're the first ones we celebrate with. And so that's like a huge thing for us.
It's not about selling the what, it's about who and why.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. Well, and I think especially for local businesses, you have to connect and know what's going on with your folks, what's going through their minds, and how you can ultimately help them with that. And then if you get a sale out of it, that's just icing on the cake. Like, that's just exciting. So for our audience, you keep saying live, and you introduce that you do Facebook Lives. Talk a little bit about what that looks like for you and why you decided to start doing those Facebook Lives. And maybe when too. If you would.
Yeah. So it's just a way of hustling, honestly. Like when Facebook Live came out, it was just a new avenue that was free to reach customers. And so it was just about hustling it. When we first started, it was you were doing them at 8 o'clock at night because that's when the audience was available. And eventually we've kind of gotten to the point of we can do them when it best fits our schedule because we've established that brand and that customer base. But one time a week we try to do an evening one just to meet their needs.
And especially with the replay too. Like if we do it in the afternoon, they can replay it and watch it later at night. Like what's more convenient for them. They might not get the interaction, but they still get to see the product and us talk about it. So.
And then adding our app and then now adding Instagram, we hit a lot more people. And then a lot of times with going live on Facebook, it gets shuffled in with everything else unless they search it out. And so having our own app and going live in it, it makes shopping for them a lot easier. And then for our older customers, it's just they don't have to type in so much because they would have to type in words and everything has a number to it. So now they can just click a button, and so it's more user friendly for that too, which helps them out a lot. And so that just opened us up, I think, a lot.
Yeah, the technology we use has advanced. So it used to be to the point where we had a list of items that we were showing and we numbered them. And then at the end of the night, like we would have to go through the comments from our customers and be able to acknowledge like this was the item that they wanted in this size, and then we would have to manually invoice them. Now we use a program that is connected with our app, and so we can create a live selection is what it's called. So all our products are in there. The system numbers it. It shows a picture of the product, the price, the sizes on the screen. So it's like an overlay when we're live. And then when they comment, it automatically puts it into like a shopping cart for them. And then they go through the checkout process. So we don't do anything manually. Once they check out, then we get the notification that we have an order, and then Heather takes it from there and either ships or does local pickup with it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so was this something that immediately once you started doing it, you knew that this was the right call, or did it take a little bit of time to build that up? Or how have you built that to be a successful avenue to sell the lives over time?
There was definitely trial and errors. Because with any technology, which you guys understand here, if it doesn't want to work, it's not going to work. And so so we've had to sometimes go back, and we could be live, but we would have to hold up a sheet of paper with a picture of the product and then a number. Because we couldn't get it to go over the overlay or stuff like that. And like Kelly, because I used to watch Kelly's lives when she would do it in her basement. And so the advancement with that has grown, but it also just gets our products out there, and it brings people into the store as much as it sells them online. And then it just shows them the product also. And so for us, it's kind of our way of checks and balances in the store. We don't bring product out onto the floor to sell until we've shown it on a live. And so kind of the live people have been with us the longest, so it's kind of our way to give them the first look for it.
It is probably the most frustrating part of the business, though, in the sense that it is ever evolving and changing. And so, like, I can give the example of Black Friday 3 years ago. We could go live and show products, and I would have, over 100 people watching, and we would sell, 200 items. And then the very next year, we do the same thing, and it's half. Because, with algorithms and things like that. So it's the most frustrating piece, because it's a big part of it is out of our circle of control.
Right.
And so what worked yesterday, what worked a month ago, what worked last year is not always the case for today. And so it's always a constant hustle. Yeah, like what do we need to try different? What time do we need to try different? How can we create more engagement? How do we get connected with customers more? What can we do to drive sales, and build that relationship?
Which I think helps that there's 3 of us to do that too, so that we try to constantly come up with new ideas and we bounce them off of each other. So it's not just like it started out just being Kelly's, sole thing to think of, and then I would just show up and help her sell the clothes, where now it's like we can all 3 brainstorm and come up with ideas to do it, and the fun things that we come up with to interact with our customers and stuff like that, that's something we all can decide together too.
And so that's actually, that brings up a good topic. We, over time, especially we see some businesses, they'll solely lean on, say Facebook Lives, like solely lean on it because it's what's working for them. But they don't think about that, maybe next year or tomorrow, something could happen and it's not going to work. I mean, there's times that we'll go to use Facebook or post something and it's just down for the day. For whatever reason. And so it sounds like you've already taken some of those steps, with the app, having more control over how you're able to get in touch with folks. But what else are you doing to kind of make sure that you own those connections so that you can maintain those relationships? Say if Facebook, for whatever reason, was going to be down.
Yeah, Heather, you want to, like with the emails?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do our emails and we do our text messages, and we have like different events that we'll do also with like having a food truck in the parking lot, or if like we're big on community. So if Waverly's having something, we've had postcards through the mail. I mean, we do, any avenue we can take, we'll do it, or try it at least, I would say. Phone calls, people know that if they have any questions, and some of our customers are older and they can't figure out the system, they'll call and we'll take an order over the phone, or anything we can do, we'll do pretty much.
Yeah. We even have a list of, so we have a loyalty program, which tracks like purchases, amount spent. And so we have them in different tiers. And so our top tier customers, we print out a list, we send them birthday cards. We try to, sometimes we'll do like a coupon for just them. So we try to stay connected personally because we can't depend on technology or anything else. So.
And talk a little bit about how have you gone about collecting those, emails, phone numbers. We, work with some folks and they are very concerned about, I don't want to email because I don't want to spam them, I don't want to text them. How have you navigated that so you feel like you're providing value without going over the top?
So I think some of the things that we do is that we add a personal touch to it. So it's not just spammy. It's not just another email that they're getting from somewhere else. So we don't just like flood them with a bunch. We will show them something that we know they're going to be excited about. So we talk about an event that we have coming up. So like we just added permanent jewelry to Mow and Arrow. And so we put that in there and let them know that that's something that maybe they're not in the avenue for clothing, but this could be something that they could bring their families in and do together. And then we try to make it so it's not constant. Like it's not
to overdo it.
Not to overdo it. So the email only goes out once a week. And then we try not to text them every single day. Like we try to keep in mind of that also. But we do Facebook posts every day. So they can, if they wanted to, look us up and see what new things we have in the store or something like that. And then we also do a Facebook story and Instagram story every single day. And so we just kind of let them know what's going on. And it's not always a selling point, but could be personal. So it could be like Maria taking photos of us doing this so that we can say we have some exciting things coming. It's just kind of letting them know what's going on for us and not just always flooding them with buy.
Or like the uplifting messages that we'll put on there, like just something cheerful. It doesn't even have to be a product. Sometimes we just put something positive out there to lift them up for the day.
Our mission is to make everybody feel beautiful on the inside and out and feel confident. And we do that through our relationships with them and, our positive attitudes and our clothing. That's just, so that radiates through our branding.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it sounds like too, you've expanded beyond just the clothing with the events and the communication. I mean, you're this brand is a lot larger than just, you talked about getting into jewelry, it's ever expanding. Do you know, or do you have any information you can share about some of the, maybe some of the things that are coming down the pipeline in the future that kind of tie into that?
I think we'll always hustle in some way. I just think
Yeah, so the jewelry came in about in the beginning of this month.
So that's very new.
So that's
Very,
yeah.
very
so
new.
so
Very
maybe we're not thinking of something just quite yet because we're getting this one dialed in.
But to try to take full advantage of it, we're not only offering walk-ins, like people can come in during business hours, but we're offering like private or personal parties. So people can kind of like host them and get, a hostess reward where they can invite their friends and have a little bit more privacy. So just trying to hustle it as much as possible, and we're advertising it and things like that. So.
But we're always interested in new things and what's going on.
Yeah.
Like we're always open to like, can we do this? Like, will this work? And having three minds, like you said, bouncing off each other, like the negatives, the positives, like, and just like, I feel we always talk really well with each other about like, if someone's like, oh, I don't know, like we don't say, we don't disregard that. We like take it in like, okay, good point, and then we're like, I don't know. I feel like that's what I love about having three owners, because sometimes you think, oh, that's a lot, but I don't know. I think it benefits us.
There's definitely a respect across the board.
Yeah.
And so even with new ideas, like, okay, well, we'll try this and we'll see if it works. And if it's not, then we can revisit it down the road. It's never a no right off the bat. It's always something that we can work into and revisit. So I think that helps out in thinking of new ideas and bringing new things into the store also.
Yeah.
And so maybe talk about whether it's related to the Facebook Lives, the email marketing, the texting. What are some things maybe that didn't work that you thought would, that you learned from? Is there anything specific that you can think of?
We always make it work.
We try to.
That's a good question, because I'm like,
I mean, I think going live, trying to figure out the times going live and then the amount of products to have during them. Like if we go live like in the mornings, we might have a better audience and sell more than going live in the middle of the day. And if we do that, then it's better to have like one outfit and just show from head to toe, this is our look. And so it's just trying to figure out in that aspect what will work when. I think is probably one of our biggest hurdles. Like Kelly said, it's constantly changing. And then technology out there is constantly changing. So like right now, one thing is, shopping on TikTok is huge. So do we, venture onto that? Because the more you add, then the more spam and that type of thing you have to deal with also. And so it's just, figuring out what will work in that point of view.
And I think when we make those decisions, we continue to go back to what is our target customer, right? So we're not targeting the 20, 25-year-olds. That's not our target customer. So we make our decisions based off of that, what inventory we buy, how we advertise, things like that. So.
But I do agree. We do hustle and make it work no matter what. Even if it's not a good turnout for something, we still like try to turn it positive and not always have it be a negative. So it's.
Well, and I think what you said is a great one. Knowing when your audience is going to be on, paying attention, that totally makes sense. And it might not be, because I can't remember if you said this in the beginning or if this was before, but if you only go on when it's convenient for you, that might not be convenient for everybody else that's going to be purchasing, which doesn't work. So being a little bit flexible to that. Where do you go, so you're talking about, is TikTok right or not? Where do you go to look up information? So folks that are watching, maybe they're also considering it or taking a look. Who do you go to, or what do you look up to find out if it's right for you?
Google, of course. No. We are members of what's called the Boutique Hub. So we are fortunate that they have a group of ladies have created this community to help boutique owners, small boutique owners like ourselves. And so they have resources on there that we utilize, and they get in experts in certain topics. They do interviews with them, such as this. And so we just stay as educated as possible. I'm in we're in a few Facebook groups of boutique owners, and so we're definitely community over competition. We try to help each other. And
Well, and that was
reach
another
out to people.
Another thing that I saw was your Facebook group, which looks like it's very healthy in terms of the amount of members, which I have to imagine that, especially with the lives, but other areas of your business, stuff like that has been very helpful. Is that something you're active in most days, contributing to those groups, or what does that kind of look like?
I think our Facebook posts, and then the Boutique Hub, like Kelly mentioned, will be in our feed. And so then we'll if there's somebody on there asking a question about something, if we can help, we type it in. We had a local boutique in the area that was getting a new system like ours that we use in the store. And so they would call and ask questions. And so we would help them navigate through that and stuff like that. And so it's just, if we are able to help in some way because we have that experience, then we definitely will. Because like Kelly said, it is community over competitions. And same with Waverly. Waverly being a small town, there's a lot of things going on in Waverly in a lot of places. And so if someone comes in and they don't find something that they're looking for a wedding over the weekend with us, then I definitely direct them downtown. Ask them if they're for a ladies' day and they've asked for lunch, tell them what our favorite places to eat in town is and stuff like that. So it's definitely trying to build Waverly, because if we don't succeed, then nobody does in Waverly, or if we get somebody in.
We want Waverly to be a shopping destination,
Yeah. Yep.
not, people won't necessarily just come to our store. We do have some girls or some ladies that do specifically come just to see us, but we want our town to prosper.
Yep. So participating in the events that the chamber puts on and stuff like that is huge, because we have a billboard in Cedar Falls, and so bringing people to Waverly that might not know that there's other places is as much important for us as it is for Waverly as a whole.
Some of those in-person things, we're talking about digital marketing, but sometimes those are forgotten by businesses, or those in-person opportunities to make connections, because that's when you find out, there's other opportunities that when somebody comes in, maybe you're not the right fit for them at the time, but then you can help connect them with somebody else. And that does build that brand of community and being helpful and all that. And I'd actually like to spend just a little bit of time talking about, your target audience. You had mentioned, always keeping them in mind when deciding what to be a part of or what not to. Can you give an example of maybe something you were considering, but then when you thought back to your target audience, you're like, no, that's not going to fit? Because I know that's one thing that with businesses that we've talked to, they want to, anybody that comes in, they'd love to sell them something, because, you need to sell to continue to grow and help that bottom line. But if all of a sudden your target audience is everyone, then your target audience really is no one, because it's not specific. Do you have a story like that you can share?
I think when it comes to picking out our clothing,
That's huge.
some of the items that we might think
Like
are
ourselves.
really cute, maybe, a little bit more, I don't know, fitted or,
In style.
Like younger.
sexy type kind
Yeah,
of clothes.
yeah.
That is
that's
not
true.
we'll maybe get a dress or a top or two like that just to, have in store. But we really try to have more of the relaxed fit, style clothing, jeans that aren't as distressed, because we're targeting women who are working. You can't wear distressed jeans to work. We'll have a few pairs in the store, but we definitely have more, non-distressed jeans.
And then, we also, with the three of us, will help with that too. These two might love something, and I'll be like, but that's not, we have to think of our ladies, or vice versa. They'll be like, Tanya, that is not going to work. That's, something that maybe you love, but it's not.
Or shoes,
shoes.
Yep. You're not
Yeah.
going to sell, a super high heel that's narrow fitted. That's not.
Yeah. They like comfy, something they can wear to work, still looks nice.
Yep.
Yeah. And we listen to them. They'll tell us.
Those feedback loops?
Yes,
Oh,
yes. Oh, 100%. We'll have customers that'll come in and be like, hey, can you get this? And we'll be like, I don't think so, but we might be able to get something like it.
Right.
Or they'll tell us if they're like, don't like something, and we'll listen to everything they have to say.
Our target audience do not like anything with their upper arms. I never knew that was a thing. And so they want something that will hit their elbows. And so when we went to market, we looked for those things. We put out a post, what are some things that you are wishing that we had in the store? And they answered, or they told us on our live, this is what we hope that you would get into the store. And so when we look at inventory and bringing it in, then we look at those things, is it see-through? How long is the sleeve? what is the fit like and that kind of thing. And so just keeping that in mind.
Yeah, or if it is a tank top, can you wear like a normal bra with it?
Yeah.
I mean, those are things that our population.
And sometimes we'll take pictures of it and post it on Facebook and ask them, do you like this? Yes or no? And we'll get a lot of ladies that'll be love it, or no, hate it. And so we'll look at that and be like, okay, let's get this, let's not get that.
Yep.
We do value their opinion and we let them have it, like through all of our social media. And I think that's something they like too, because
Yep.
that's not, you don't
They
get
get
that
us-
everywhere.
They get an
Right,
opinion
right.
in what is coming into somewhere they shop.
Well, that's that was my next question was, have you ever had an issue getting that? Or was that always pretty easy to get that feedback when you've asked for it?
I think it's always been easy. I don't think we've ever had a hard time asking. And I think some of it's because of the relationship we've built with them. Like they know they're safe letting us know their opinion. Like we've never told them that they were wrong, or we've never criticized them and anything like that. And so they know that they have that availability to let us know how they feel about it.
Because we have some people that we've talked to, and it's like everyone says like, oh, it was great, but they never give us anything to work off of, or maybe they're scared of giving us feedback, and it's like, well, have you asked for feedback before? No, we've not. And it's, when a business is all of a sudden wanting you, it's like, you've never asked me for feedback. Why?
Right.
I
Right
don't
now,
know
all
if
of
you're
a
gonna
sudden,
take
yeah.
that.
And we have on our website where they can review our products
Mm-hmm.
and leave that there, and
That helps us too.
Well, and anonymous feedback is nice if you can attach a name to it. Sometimes then it can lead to a conversation. I don't know if you've had that before. Sometimes those insights can be great, and even if it's something negative, if you have that conversation, spend that time, it can be something positive on the end of that. So,
And we've had that with our returns. So I handle all our returns that come back from our customers. So if I notice that a customer is sending a lot of stuff back, and so then I will reach out to them and I'll be like, thank you for you shopping with us. Thank you for your return. I've noticed that a lot's coming back. Is there anything I can do to help you that would help with that? And some of it's just they're trying to learn what their size is. And so it's having that open communication with them at any time, no matter what.
Yeah, because then if you see their next order come through with a similar size, Tanya will get a hold of them and be like, hey, you got a 1X. I really think you would be better in a 2X or an XL, vice versa. And then they're like, okay. So, because she'll get to know, like, this wasn't working for you, try this. And they'll be like, okay. And then it'll work. And they'll be like, thank you so much. Like, I didn't.
Even colors,
Yeah.
certain colors don't, they might love it, but they'll ask on the live, is that a good color for me? And it's just from building that relationship with them that I'll be like, no, you should probably do this top instead of that top. And so it's again goes back to having that, initial
Honest communication.
Yep. And that connection with
same
them
way
too.
in person. I mean, they come out of the dressing room and we're there to give them
Yeah,
feedback.
if we don't think it looks good, we'll tell.
Yeah.
In the nicest way, like
Yes,
you know what I mean? Because like
They're
Tanya
our
said,
walking advertisement.
yeah, when you leave here, like you want to feel comfortable.
Yep.
We're not gonna lie to you and tell you look good in something, and then you go out and be like someone else say that, like no, we want you to know, and they like that. People love that. They're like, because sometimes you're like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, and they're like, no, I want you to tell me this. And we're like, okay.
I just even think about, for me, I asked my wife once before going out to dinner if she liked an outfit. Yeah, and then got home later that night, she didn't like it. It's like, well, why didn't you say it ahead of time? That would have helped, and especially when they're purchasing something, they want to know if they're going to spend their money on it.
We want them to love it and feel confident in it. And if they don't, it's going to sit in their closet, and that does us no good.
Right, they'll never come back, or
Yeah.
they'll never say anything highly about you. So.
Right, because if they love it, and then people are like, what are you wearing? Oh my God, I got from Bow and Arrow. I love this.
Right.
Like I don't know.
I'll even get personal messages on the weekends to my Facebook or to my phone. Tanya, I'm going out. Does this look better than this or something like that? And so, it makes me feel good about that, because then I know that they trust my opinion and that they're going to come back and shop with us, and because that helps all of us sitting on this couch if that happens.
That has to be so fun.
It is. It is so great. And then people that will come in and they have, hate shopping, and they've had the worst experiences in the entire world, and they may have been shopping all day long. It's just having the patience with them and the grace to understand that, and then they come back. They come back because they felt comfortable there and stuff like that. And so I think that is the most rewarding thing, no matter if it's online or if it's in store, just having that. So I think that's, awesome for us.
Well, and one thing that I just love, I think with almost every single question, especially on the digital, the online stuff, we've always gotten back to relationships outside of it, you know, so using those tools to bring people in, but then not leaving it there, you know, pulling
Right.
it off.
Yeah.
And so talk about, was that always part of the plan? It just seems like you're like that. It was
it's
never.
always been my I've always preached that. So my background, actually, I don't work full time at the store. I am a counselor. That's kind of my true calling. This was a hobby that just
Blew up.
yes. And so my mission from the get-go has always been building those relationships and making women feel good. So I've preached that to everybody, to all our employees. Like, I don't care how much you're selling, make them feel good, build that relationship, they will return. You know, like, nobody works on commission. It's just, and it's worked for us.
Yeah. And I think also because we are all different sizes, you know, and being a plus size gal, going out and shopping, you know, I'm relatable to them. You know, I understand the frustrations and stuff like that. And so when you see a photo, or when we do our online shows, we put the clothes on. So there's two of us wearing the clothes. So they see it on a plus size girl and they see it on a straight size girl. And so they get to see how it's going to fit them, even if they, you know, it kind of gives them a guide. And so that helps out too, to let them know, like, you know, and there is no hiding it. We tell what our sizes are, you know, our insecurities. And so that also makes us relatable online to our customers also. And they know, hey, okay, so if Tanya's wearing that size or Heather's wearing this size, they get to know us and what we're wearing. And so that helps that too.
Yeah.
I know a lot of local business owners especially have a hard time getting in front of the camera. And so especially that, so one, getting in front of the camera is hard, but two, being open about that is very challenging. Is that something you had to learn, or was that okay from the start?
No, I was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, agreed. I was so nervous.
Because it's not like sitting here, like we're communicating with you and you're talking with us. When you're online selling, you are talking to yourself or interacting with each other. Like, we can read the words and we can say them, but there's not somebody having an open conversation with us. And so that was a big curve. And like I said before we started this, my first live, I stood in the back. I did not talk. I was straight as a board. I didn't move. I didn't anything. And so
you described the clothes for me the first time.
I did.
Just stood there. Tanya said everything I was wearing.
Yeah.
And now I can look at what they're commenting. I can think about what I have to say about the clothes and how it fits and be goofy. Because at first I was like,
it's like looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like talking into a mirror
Yeah.
because you're watching yourself. You see yourself.
Oh,
and you apologized the entire first live.
I think I said sorry. And I couldn't form words. I didn't know what I was saying, and now it's so much fun. And so in having two people opposed to one, you can at least talk to each other and make it fun. And we have people come in and they will literally just be like, I love watching your lives. And they won't even comment, and that's okay if they don't comment. We love when they do, but if they don't, that's fine. And they're just like, I just love watching you guys. You guys look like you're having so much fun. And we are.
And it is fun.
We really are having so much fun. And that's another thing that makes it easy. They can see that through the camera. They can see if you're just sitting there trying to be like, this is this, buy this, we're trying to give them that.
Right. It's making them comfortable, but in return, it's when you love what you're doing and love the people you're working with, that it doesn't matter if it's in person or if it's over any form of internet or whatever, they absolutely can see that. And so, and it is true, we absolutely love what we are doing, what we are providing for other people. I think is the most rewarding thing.
Awesome. And so how long did it take you to feel comfortable doing that? Just so there's some hope for folks. I can't tell you how many conversations it's, I'd love to be on social media. It's like, well, are you comfortable? No. Well.
For me, at the get-go, I loved it. So it was never, I didn't have that reservation. I would rather do that than sell in person.
Oh, okay.
And I'd rather sell, and I'm the opposite of Kelly. At first, I'd rather sell in person than, be online. I think, probably by the third or the fourth live we did, I think I got more comfortable with it. And it helped that Kelly was there also. And so, talking about it, I just kind of watched her and answered questions she would answer my questions and stuff like that. we tell, like, when we add somebody new, we start them out doing just videos because you can stop them and redo them and over and over and over as many times as you want to before we put them on a live. Like, I'm not just going to say, welcome to Mow and Arrow. Now today you're going to go live. That's like the first time for Heather. That's why I talked and
I just
stood there and kind of like
Yeah.
went through the motions.
Yeah. It took about like a month. But then I was also like coming into it like after you guys had already been doing it. I didn't want to like let you down. I wanted to make sure I did all the right things.
Right.
And then I don't know. Just you'll get there.
And our customers are awesome. Like they'll tell you like they're boosting you up as you're doing it too. So they're letting you know that you're doing a great job. And so like they were telling Heather that first time, you're doing great, Heather, it's okay, and stuff like that. And so
Yes.
it helps out too. They know that it's a struggle to be honest because they wouldn't want to do it for them either. So they understand that.
So what I'm hearing is take baby steps, get some trusted feedback, and just go for it.
Start out just recording. Start
Yeah.
out recording yourself with whatever you're doing, and then watching what you say, how many times you say or the or
And I
pause.
had little Post-its. I would have like little
Yep.
Post-it notes like that would tell me the sizes that we had in this product, the price, the name of it. And then now it just like comes naturally. But before I would make notes for myself and make sure I got all of them right. But yeah.
Yeah, some people, they assume that you can just get on there, no preparation, and it can go well. Preparation's key, especially for lives like that, to know what you're talking about.
And I think it helped for Heather was that she did the description. She writes all the description of the clothing. And so she was able to relay what she wrote and talk about it also. So making those little Post-it notes were just highlights of what needed to be, like main focuses that needed to be said. So.
Well, very good. Well, I think we're kind of getting towards the end here. We've covered a bunch of awesome topics. Thank you so much for your
thanks for
time.
having
Yeah, thank
Before
you.
we kind of wrap up, would you just, whether it's about lives, email, text, brand, do you have any final advice that you'd encourage folks, specifically to local businesses that either are a one-person shop, small organization, or even somebody considering opening a business? What would just be some advice you'd have for them?
Be prepared to hustle. It doesn't come easy. And what worked, a month ago isn't necessarily going to work next month. Build that relationship. That's number one. Know your audience. Kind of get that target population down.
Be open to trying new things
Yeah.
and seeing if it works.
Have a brand, and you stay in your lane, right? Like we see other boutiques doing certain things or maybe similar things to us. Like stay in your lane. Like focus on yourself, what's in your circle of control, and
Build your community.
Yeah.
I think that would probably be the biggest thing. If you don't have that audience, like Kelly said, that target audience or build that connection with them, then they're going to find somewhere else to build that connection. So you got to have that off the bat, I think.
yeah, it's not about what we sell. It's about
Yep.
who we're selling it to and who they're buying it from. It's
And at the end of the day, we walk away like feeling good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Knowing that we made other people feel good. And and just hustle and do it the right way.
Have fun.
It's a lot of advice.
That is a lot of advice.
No, but again, thank you so much for your time
Thanks for
today.
having us.
We really appreciate it. I know that
Yeah.
our audience will appreciate it as well. But thank you again for tuning in to the Raisin Brand podcast. As always, you can find us on your favorite podcasting spot, whether it's Spotify, Apple, or also you can watch the video on YouTube. Thank you much, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. Thank you for tuning in to another Raisin Brand podcast. Make sure to check out our website at raisinbrand.co and sign up for our email list to make sure you never miss another podcast.